Okay, guys, welcome back to our episode. And remember, on our last episode, I had my colleague May, and we had such a pleasant, lovely conversation. And we couldn't continue for a long time because we don't want to bore you guys. So, if you're an aspiring cabin crew and you want to join Emirates, please stay tuned, listen, and watch the video until the end because we want you to pick up all the conversation and get to know how is it being an Emirates cabin crew. And today we're going to be talking more about leadership and so many other things. So please watch the video until the end.
Pursers will always be pursers,
Yeah.
the top ones, right? But first class crew are just so refined.
You know
They're
why
so,
I love first class?
yeah.
Please don't hate me if you're grade 2 or grade 1. First class crew. You will even know before you even ask them, are you
Yeah.
a first class crew?
Yeah.
Please tell me why.
Yeah, because-
why do you think I'm saying that?
Yeah, because first class crew, when I looked at them when I joined, they're just very refined. The way they talk, you can
Yeah.
see the way they move, the way they
Exactly.
think, the way.
Polite, so
Yes.
there's a touch, you know
Yes.
what I mean?
Yes, and the way they actually entertain and take care of customers are
Yeah.
different as well. And I'll tell you why. Because the process you undergo when you pass, when you do the training,
Yeah.
it's also tough. Pursers are like this tough level, right? But
Let's
an
talk
FG1.
about FG1.
Yes.
We call them FG1.
FG1s.
First class grade.
Yes.
I don't know.
First grade
What
ones or
is-
something.
What is FG1 by the way?
FG1s.
Anyway, just forget. We call them FG1.
FG1.
First class crew.
First class crew, yes. Because if you become a business class crew, they tell you, how to watch your hand gestures, how to talk. In first class, it's the minutest detail these trainers teach you.
And this
From, it's more about anticipating the needs of the
customer
customers.
before they
Yes.
ask.
Yes, before
So
they
it's
even
more about psychology.
Yes, like you really have to have the initiative. You really have to be on your feet all the time.
Yeah.
Like, not all customers are the same.
Yeah.
So you really have to personalize everything.
Yeah.
So imagine in first class, unlike business class, maybe when you take the Boeing, which has 42 seats,
Yeah.
and if you
Airbus.
Airbus 76 seats,
yeah.
in first class it's like as minimum as 6 customers.
Yeah. 6, then 8, and then 14.
Yeah, so
Depending
still,
on which aircraft. Yeah.
exactly. But the main focus is they must have a private jet experience.
Exactly.
So it isn't, you couldn't just treat them, in general, the same you
Exactly.
treat everybody. You have to be personalized. And
this,
Emirates,
and again, we talk about the money that they've paid,
a lot.
And these are the people who are used to
Yes. To luxury.
high-end kind of stuff. You don't want to just come there and say, excuse me.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
so-
So that's what Emirates teaches you. And I really liked it. Because
And there's one thing about first class as well that you've said, attention. It's actually more about psychology and
Right.
anticipation.
right.
In first class, the way we treat the customer, we don't have a scheduled time for you to eat.
Yes. Dine on demand.
It's called dine on demand. You eat anything, anytime, whenever you feel like.
right.
So that's why you need to anticipate. So you think, oh, this customer, we took off and went straight to sleep. So during the flight, he wakes up. Would you expect him to just call you and say, I want to eat something?
No.
Or you would actually approach him and say, oh,
Something to
sir
drink?
or Mrs. So-and-so, I saw you slept immediately after the flight. Would you like something to drink?
Yes.
Can I offer you something?
There you go.
And they are so much happy. They
Right.
didn't have to press the bell. In first
Exactly.
class, actually, we are not allowed.
Yes.
Don't press the bell.
Yes.
You're supposed to be there.
Yes.
So, and I think that's one thing that really puts us up there.
Exactly.
Anticipation.
Anticipation.
I love that.
And being personalized,
Personal,
being,
yeah.
being very personal,
Yeah.
right? When you're personal, it means that you know what the needs of this person is,
Yeah.
and you have to be ready all the time.
Exactly.
You're ready to offer whatever service
Yeah.
it is that they require. Yes. And apart from that, being in first class, it gives you that personal interaction
Yeah.
because you have all the time. So it's
Yeah.
not a lot of customers, so you really get to interact with them one by one, and
Yeah.
a lot of lessons in life, Janet. I also learned
A
from
lot.
of
You actually
passengers.
learn a lot from these passengers. Yeah.
Yes.
they are so willing to tell you their life journey, how they
Yes.
started. You might think, oh, somebody was just lucky to be rich, or
Exactly.
someone was. When you talk to these people and you really get to be personal, they are so more than happy to
Yes.
tell you the steps they took, you know.
Yes.
And that's one thing I
Lessons.
picked as well. Being in first
Being
class.
first
Yeah,
class, yes,
yeah.
it's a great position. So that's why I stayed there for almost 8 years.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. And you've liked it.
I liked it so much. Back in the days when you work in as a grade 1 or in business class, I
Yeah.
would come home and I would be like, I'm tired and I'm sleepy. But
But
now
in
in
first
first
class?
class, I'd be like, I'm fine, just a little bit sleepy, but
I
I'm
know,
fine.
right? Not that we don't work, by the way, but
Yes.
you know, you just feel some satisfaction
Yes.
when you say it, when you become personal, you're actually not just being plastic and doing this, you're actually being genuine. When it
Yes.
comes to a smile, it's a
Yes.
genuine smile. When it comes to talking to this customer, it's just
Right.
everything is so genuine.
Yes, exactly.
You know?
You learn a lot of lessons, and at the same time, it's very refreshing when
Yeah.
you come out of the flight with great conversations.
Yeah.
And I say when sometimes, why I think business class can be a tiring cabin, because
Yeah.
I said it's a big cabin.
Yeah.
Right. And it's very physical, as opposed to when you're working in economy where you serve, small trays and you give it there. As soon as you become part of the premium cabin, business class and first class, you ditch all those plastic cups and plastic trays. You all go with China. So it's very heavy.
Yeah.
So if you serve a lot of customers, 42 or name it, 20 customers in business class, it is physically
It is, yeah.
it is physically tiring. But in first class
First
as
class.
well, it can be also a bit tiring sometimes, especially when it gets very busy.
Yeah.
But you get out of it very fresh because again, you have more time to interact with
First class
customers.
actually is more of a restaurant experience,
Yes,
because we don't
yes.
have any trays in first class.
Yes, everything.
Everything is just
Individual.
one by one. It's
Yes.
individual. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's the reason why you never attempted to go up the ladder. You didn't want to be a supervisor.
No, I
nothing.
never.
But you know, that's life, right? Where you feel you're satisfied and you've reached, you don't have to
Yes.
pressurize yourself or peer pressure. Oh, because my
Yes.
friend has become a
Yes.
supervisor or a passer, you want to push yourself there.
Yes.
Maybe you can reach there and you realize, oh, that's not what I want.
Right.
And that's when
Right.
problems start, because
Yes.
you'll be having tantrums to
Mhm.
everybody. You'll just be unhappy. But I'm so happy that you knew this is where I want to reach, and that's it.
Yes, I said to myself, I wanted to be in first class. And because when you work in first class, of course, it's not as physical as being in business
Yeah.
class. And, you come out most of the time, 90%, I come out of the flight very happy.
Very happy.
And very satisfied.
Yeah.
So outside Emirates, I get to do things that I also love.
Your own things.
So the things that I love. So I get to do other things as well, which
Yeah.
I find also productive
Yeah.
for, the career that I also want to pursue
That's
and
true.
ventures that I also want to take.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's really good, and thank you
you.
for letting us know.
Thank you.
Now, we're almost done. So let's talk about your flights now.
Okay.
Me being a leader.
Yes.
Okay. So sometimes I go on a flight and you realize you just feel this atmosphere. Maybe, you need to really get to know the crew, but they put a wall.
Yes.
You try to push, there's a wall that you can't get through. You try to be friendly, to be,
Yeah.
Now, please define for me and everybody else, we need to know, because maybe there are some mistakes that us as leaders we are doing, and you being a cabin crew, in your position,
Yes.
that we need to know, how would you define a good leadership and a bad leadership
All
when you
right.
go on board, starting with the supervisors and the passers?
Okay.
So maybe, I don't know, which one would you like to start with?
All right.
Bad leadership or the good leadership?
Okay, let's start with good leadership.
Let's start with the good
Okay.
leadership. Okay. there
Yes.
you go.
For me, when I come into a flight, I think it's important to always have an open mind.
Yeah.
You must not come to work with judgments or preconceived,
Yeah.
as to, when you're closed.
Okay.
You have to have an open mind,
Open
saying
mind.
that anybody is good, give them a chance. You don't judge immediately,
Exactly.
right? Because sometimes, and it happens a lot, and this is just the truth,
Yeah.
sometimes we look at our schedules, we look at the flight and be like, oh, this
Oh
is
my
going to be
God.
tough, For me,
Because of the reputation
because
that
of the
you've
reputation
heard
of the
about.
flight. Yeah, so this is going to be tough. So not even considering who you're going to fly with, you have already judged how your flight is going to
Yeah.
be. So for me, I look at my roster, like any other rosters,
Yeah.
like any other flight, no preconceived
No
judgments,
stereotypes.
no stereotypes.
Yeah.
So that gives me a, zero and a fresh start when I go in the briefing room.
Wow.
Right? So I go inside, and for me,
So
again,
erase what happened on your
Yes.
previous flight. You're
Start
meeting
fresh.
new people. It's a fresh journey.
Yes.
Give it a chance. Benefit of the doubt.
exactly.
Let's start.
Zero first,
There you
right?
go.
And then when I look at leaders, for me, I always look at the good side, right?
Wow.
When I go inside the briefing room and I see that the purser, because usually in first class, we directly report to the pursers.
Yeah.
And when we're in the briefing room, we sit with the purser. So
Yeah.
the purser briefs us with
So
whatever
maybe I
can
should
happen.
just divide it for them.
Yes.
So before the flight, like I said, guys, we have different ranks. We have the grade twos that are new joiners in economy. And then we have the grade ones for business class. And then we have first class crew. And then we have the cabin supervisors. So when we go to the briefing room basically means we are discussing about the flight before we go.
Right.
So grade twos will sit with their supervisor,
Right.
cabin supervisor, who will be in charge of economy. Then grade ones will be in charge of business with their cabin supervisor.
Right.
Then first class, they sit with a brown uniform, the
Yes,
passers.
with them, yeah, with them.
So,
Yes.
continue
So
from
when I
there
go
now.
inside and I see that the purser is smiling, firstly, I don't expect the leader to reach out, because
Yeah.
some crew, they said, oh, the purser doesn't smile or the purser doesn't do that. No, you have to make initiative first.
Yeah.
Because when you put expectations already that the purser must be like this
On
and this
someone
and
else,
this,
yeah.
yes, you're putting your happiness in the control of
Oh,
another
someone
person's
yes.
hand.
Oh,
And I
that
believe,
actually makes sense.
yes, happiness
Wow.
should be within you,
There you
so
go.
whether or not for you, the purser greeted you or not, it's not his fault, or not his or her fault. So for me, I go inside, I look at the purser, I smile,
Give
I
the
greet,
energy.
I give the energy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm positive, I'm happy, I'm looking forward
Yeah.
to this flight, and I just want to radiate it,
Yeah.
right? And then when I see the purser also, reciprocating
Yeah.
that one, and then I just feel, okay, wow, so it's going to be a good flight,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And when it comes to leadership, I feel you can tell early on, just in the briefing, when a purser is listening, when a purser listens to what you say.
So listening.
Yes, when a purser, asks what you think. Do you have anything to say?
Involving.
Yes, when the purser involves you. For me, I think
There you
that's
go.
a good
Pastors,
purser.
are you listening?
Because for me, I think a great leader, firstly, again, has an open mind. It has
True.
an open mind. It is accommodating.
Accommodative,
Yes, the
yeah.
person, the leader is accommodating.
There
Meaning,
you go.
it's not just my rules. It's not just my, my steps that you have to follow. Do you have any suggestions?
So
I
remember
think-
what we said on your video, on your
Yes.
channel? We were discussing when she was asking me questions about what is leadership. My answer was leadership is a team,
team player, right?
You just have to be a team player.
Right.
There you go. Not like my rules or because wearing the uniform itself,
Yes.
the brown color in Emirates already speaks volume. So you
Right.
don't have to go there pushing it on, brushing it on to people. You
Exactly.
know what I mean? Okay,
Yes.
please go ahead.
So for me, when a purser is open-minded, when a purser is accommodating, when a purser, listens, is a good listener, he listens or she
Approachable.
listens, approachable, right? And makes you involved with whatever, makes you feel that you're part of the
yeah,
team.
you're part of the team. That's,
right?
That's it. Yeah.
Make you part of the team. That for me is a good leader.
Yeah.
And also,
Wow.
during the flights, when a purser shows or makes us feel or makes us trusted that I am an adult enough to, make decisions as well.
Yeah.
I don't want a micromanager.
There
Because
you go.
I also want
micromanaging.
to
I like that.
stress that I
Give me
also
a chance to show.
yes,
You know.
that I can also perform.
There you
So
go.
when I fly with a purser who, gives me the space to work, knowing that, okay, you're in this cabin, you've been trained, you can do this.
Yeah.
If there are issues that you cannot solve, then come to me.
Come to me.
I already appreciate it, knowing that, so this purser appreciates me. This leader trusts me that I can also perform to make
And
this
actually,
flight
you
good.
will do it actually knowing
Yes.
that if I let him or her down,
Yes.
what is she or is going to say? Or,
Yes.
And that's actually when you put so much energy to
Right.
tell these people, I can do it.
Exactly.
Unlike when you start following people around, micromanaging
Yes.
and just not trusting anybody, want to
Right.
control everything.
Exactly.
It's not possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
But of all these, I told you little characteristics of a great leader. As a purser, for example,
Yeah.
you have to be approachable.
Yeah.
You have to be a good listener. You
Yeah.
have to have an open mind.
Yeah.
That there are more solutions than just one, you
Yeah.
know, because there are other leaders who think that this is my way, this is the only way. So a great leader
My way or
welcomes-
highway.
Yes. So there are a great leader for me is open to the idea that there are a lot of solutions. You know, if there's one destination, there could be so many roads that will lead to that destination.
Yeah.
So, but of all the great leader, to sum it all up, a great leader practices what he or she preaches.
There you go.
He or she walks the talk.
Action speaks a lot louder than
Action
words.
speaks louder than
There
words.
you go.
When you say,
Wow.
I am part of the team, but middle of the service, you don't
You
see that
actually-
leader when there
And you know,
are issues.
most of them do that actually.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember before I became a pastor, they come and say, guys, I'm part of the team. Don't be scared. Just
Yeah.
approach me. When you reach on board, you're like, is this the same person who was talking in the briefing like that?
Yeah.
So I like that actually.
Yes.
Practice what you preach.
Practice what
Action
you preach.
speaks louder than words.
Yes.
Wow.
Because when I
That's
see a
powerful.
leader like this, like, oh, he or she is really there. You know,
Yeah.
she's really involved. He or she
Involved.
is really, you know, making sure that, you know, her team is performing well. That inspires and motivates me. Look, I don't want her to be overworked. I don't want her to have so much on her shoulder. What can I do to make it better
And
for
actually,
her?
the crew usually even offer, can I
Yes.
help? Can I
Yes.
do this?
Yes.
But when they realize, oh, you want to control everything, they will let you make your own mistakes.
Mistakes,
and-
yeah. Yes.
Wow.
So that's a good leader.
That's
for me.
nice. Okay, guys, I think we'll have to stop at this moment with this episode because it's been such a great conversation with Mae and we can never ever stop talking. She's just so much fun to talk to. It's so flowing, and because we don't want to bore you guys, so what we're gonna do is bring you more episodes. Please watch out for the coming episodes. Stay tuned. And if you need us to talk about any other topic, please comment below. I am sure you guys will love this topic, especially those aspiring to join Emirates. Do not forget to subscribe, like, share with your colleagues. Thank you so much for joining us today. See you on the next episode.